Good afternoon. Oh, they spoiled the surprise. Well, I am so happy to be back in Pittsburgh and to introduce the speakers who will talk to us about place and its importance from a physical design standpoint and also from a standpoint of neighborhoods being opportunities for diverse backgrounds to succeed in the places they live. And this is an important topic for me, specifically because I'm concerned about place from an equity and justice perspective. And as you now know, I'm at Harvard as a Loeb Fellow at the Graduate School of Design. And thanks. And I have an opportunity to do some more research around these topics and to come up with creative solutions like our speakers will talk to you about in a bit. But I actually am participating in this fellowship with 8 amazing people who are also thinking about equity and justice in place. Those of us who are living in the United States are thinking about this from a racial and class perspective in Southside Chicago, metropolitan Dallas, and in New York City. But we do have a cohort who's from around the world. And so their perspectives are a bit different, but just as important. So we have one fellow who's from Ethiopia and is trying to really kind of make sure that there's some gender equity within architecture. We have a fellow who works in Palestinian refugee camps and trying to bring dignity to the people who've been living there for over 70 years. And we also have a young woman who works in Nepal, the Philippines, and Japan, and trying to help older people physically design and build places where they can age with dignity in place. So this is not just a Pittsburgh phenomenon, obviously, or national one, but this is work that we're doing internationally. So I'm excited to be joining such a really impactful and incredible group of people at Harvard. But obviously, as you know, my concern is about Pittsburgh. I have been working around neighborhoods, predominantly African-American neighborhoods in Pittsburgh for about 5 years now. And there's one project in particular that I really do adore, and it's the Urban Matters Project. And that project is really important because it does speak to the importance of place and how our young people have to feel comfortable in place and that they have a right, particularly African-American kids have a right to the city, just as everybody else does. So the program, it's designed, it's modeled after the Center for Urban Pedagogy's program. They're based out of Gowanus, Brooklyn. But the program is really to figure out how to help young people demystify public policy. And these policies around planning and land use are important, and they impact their lives and lives of their parents and their neighbors. And so this is an empowering program so that young people can know that they can access the places that they don't ordinarily go to. And they can access the people who make decisions about their neighborhoods. So they definitely go out and interview the adult residents in their neighborhoods, their community leaders. They interview elected officials. They interview their council people. The last Urban Matters program interviewed the mayor about urban infrastructure. So these are really important. The process of this program is probably more important than the actual final document, which is usually a video. And I believe that the P4 website does have a little blurb about it. So place is important, and I am looking forward to hearing our 3 speakers. The first that you'll hear is Kai Bergman. Kai is a partner at Big Group, based out of New York and Copenhagen. And Big is an architecture, planning, and design firm, and almost kind of a think tank. And they work worldwide. And I met Kai actually last year during the design rethink of the Lower Hill District. And so I'm looking forward to see what the updates are around that project. Our second speaker is Angela Blanchard, and she's the president and CEO of Neighborhood Centers, Inc., which is based in Houston. And she's basically a one-stop shop for community development, and neighborhoods, according to Neighborhood Centers, are places where people can thrive and where people from diverse backgrounds can make very thriving neighborhoods. And lastly, Liz Obu, sorry Liz. She's a designer and founder of Studio O, And Liz works globally with immigrant populations as well as vulnerable communities and low-income communities. And she works from a design perspective around equity in design. So please help me welcome these speakers, and thank you so much for listening to me. And I hope that you guys are enjoying the conference.